Okay, this is the April 20th, 2026. This is considered a special meeting because we had to move our regular meeting to this Monday because of the vacation that I didn't anticipate. And the one difference is that we cannot approve minutes from previous meetings, apparently, because of whatever rules there are. And we can't have any new business, but we can follow what is on the agenda, which is pretty much what we do anyway.
May I?
Yes,
I remain confused as to why this is a special meeting.
I am.
What if it snowed last week and we couldn't have the meeting? It was postponed a week. Would that be a special meeting?
Yes, I think that's
Yes.
right. And
It's on a different day.
I would have to ask Jen, and I don't understand the reason why, but
That's
I can tell you one thing. I know when I recommended and we voted on the meeting dates of the year, October is always going to be the third week because the second Monday is always some kind of vacation. But not having kids in school, I didn't pay attention to April, but I will from now on.
I should have noted for sure. I should have noticed.
So there are sometimes in November, it's a problem because whatever day falls in November, I guess it's Veterans Day, sometimes is on
Sometimes it's on a Monday.
second Monday. But
Yeah.
at any rate, but anyway, we're having, as far as I'm concerned, it's a regular meeting, but the first, I'll call the meeting to order. And the first item on the agenda is the department director's report.
So I had sent out the tonnages. If you don't have it, I have a couple extras here for you, or spread around. Tonnages are trending down from where we were last year. Appears we're going to be probably about a little bit under. I'm projecting out 30,324 for MSW. So each month, we've been probably doing less than about 100 tons less. Recycle, one thing about MSW, when it comes to all your budgets and stuff, we charge for MSW, so when I report that, okay, I have a less tonnage at the end of the year than I thought or budgeted for. I budgeted for 31,000 tons. If we come in 30 and a half or something like that, that saving is offset by the earnings and revenue that we put in on the budget side for the revenue side. So they kind of, it's when I report saying, well, I'm under with my revenue, but I'm also under with my expenses. So that's how that kind of balances out. Where you do make out a bit is recycling, because we don't charge for recycling. So therefore, I don't have that as a revenue, but if I have less recycling that's coming in, that I'm having to pay to get rid of it, that portion is somewhat of a savings. So I'm just kind of give you an idea. And recycling is broken out kind of in two different ways. We're trending to, if you look at this, about 4,674 total, which if you look at the past year, 25, we were at over 5,000 in the previous ones also. So there is some savings there as far as finances on the expense side, just to let you understand that. And the recycling is lower because we've been cracking down. We didn't have any contamination this past month for us, for trailers. We did have one, I think, the month before. But this past month has been very good. So you would expect the recycling to go down with the fact that we're cracking down. And
So more people are just throwing those items away then?
well, that and, the haulers, when they're opening up something where it would have been, in the recycling bin and it's garbage, they're, cooperating, putting it into the garbage side.
We're not picking it up.
Or not picking it up. Same thing at the transfer station, where we have someone who, a load that might come down to a transfer station, and they drop it on the floor, and we say, that's too much contamination in it. It'll be pushed over into the garbage side, and they'll be charged accordingly as garbage. So that's just a couple of where those things are. Your food waste, looks like you have, a little bit more of an increase of a couple of tons that I'm projecting out for the end of the year if you keep it up. And the glass is, about average.
It's steady, yeah.
So that's mainly it with the tonnage.
Oh, the glass gets picked up every other month? Is
Every
that
6
how-
weeks, yeah.
It takes,
Whenever it's full, right?
it takes, it's when it's full, so it's like every 6 weeks, and then when they do empty it, it's about 6 tons, so you can almost average, it's about a ton a week that we're collecting, so, and that's a savings, that would have normally gone into recycling that we would have had to pay. So,
And just out of curiosity, the glass pickup, do they charge you every time they pick up, or how does that contract work? Just out of
Right
curiosity.
now, we're very fortunate where we're not getting charged.
But I think going forward, we will
But
be.
we may wind up paying for the hauling of it.
When,
It's not known. I'm not gonna,
we're not gonna,
I'm not
we're
gonna
not gonna.
make waves
discuss
right
it.
now.
Yeah, okay.
Right now, it's
Got it.
a good thing.
Don't say
Zero for a
anything.
long time.
Don't jinx it.
Yes, and we're the only ones.
So we're happy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the whole scheduling those last pickup, it was a different avenue than what I'd been doing before.
So
And
they,
they actually, generated a ticket that we should be billed for this last pickup that we had.
so that may change, but it's still cheaper than it paying for recycling. And understand that your recycling is it's basically a contamination that brings our prices down. When you look at the overall, all the value of each of the recycling single stream items.
Can you tell us a little bit about like what's happening with the market for recyclable items right now?
It went up with the last quarter, so we're a little higher than we were the quarter before, and we're higher than what the quarter before that. So it's been trending up as a higher expense.
Oh, the higher expense.
Yeah, the market is,
The market's down,
down.
Okay.
higher expense.
So the market, so those materials just aren't.
Right.
Like what, I know at other times you said like paper was good and at other times it has not been good, so could you just say more
Yeah,
about that?
I didn't bring out the breakout
Okay.
of how each
I didn't know if you just knew.
individual item, I can probably kind of give you on the next time.
Are we going to have one of those meetings soon too?
Yeah, we usually get one of them.
A quarter.
At the end of the quarters, you get a new one. So for this fourth quarter, I'll get some type of breakout of like aluminum's up higher, cardboard's down, or paper's, where
I
it
think
is.
we would all be interested to know.
Right.
There was that issue with cardboard that was happening over in China
Right.
at the end of last year. Has that been,
So, well, good thing on that is, I mean, it was supposed to be so bad that the processor wanted to go to monthly billing because thought it was going to be bouncing all over the place. They never did. They just kept it at the quarterly because they said, well, it really didn't hit us that terrible of a spike. So with that, the fact that they kept it on a quarterly change of prices, I think, yes, it has an impact why the our tip fee's been going up, but not so significant that they're going to say, hey, we have to change it every month.
okay,
And they were talking about doing that, literally.
yeah.
Right. So that part's good. For other items, May 9th is our household hazardous waste. Now, one thing that's different is this was normally done in August, or it would have been at the beginning of the fiscal years. So this fiscal year, we had our one that we hosted in October, and now we're having, and what happened with that, as we know, there's a lot of lines, a lot of people upset. They didn't staff it well. They didn't have very experienced personnel. When I say they, it was the vendor that was hired out from the regional waste, or regional water. So to try and correct that, they're having them before the dates that they normally open the New Haven drop-off. New Haven drop-off opens usually around the end of May and goes to
End of October, depending on the weather, yeah.
Right. So the towns that are hosting a drop-off, they're saying, either do it before the May date or after the October date, so we don't have those conflicts of staffing and whatever. So ours, we set up for May 9th. May 9th is what we had available for us. Like I said, that being said, that winds up being kind of a bigger bill or invoice to the town, because now if we have that much of a turnout like we did at our last one, that's a big expense that's hitting us twice in the one fiscal year that's not planned for. And that's something I'll have to deal with, but that's, when we get to the next item, I want you to have that in mind, that I'm getting hit with two of them. Our first 6 months was about $75,000 of an invoice. I normally budget about $68,000. So that kind of exceeded what my expectations was already. I have some issues with that, with the group that are in this. There's about 12 or 13 towns that are part of this Hazardous Waste Coalition. Unfortunately, we are probably the biggest customer of this by both population of houses. There's two parts to this. It's based on the number of single and two-family homes, and then the other portion of it is based on how many households actually go and participate. We have, for the first 6 months, we had 918 households that participated, and I'd say that includes both going to New Haven and also coming to our spot. And
How many households are in Hampton?
I figure around 20,000 is usually a good number. But to give you an idea, it was 917 households went to hazardous waste. 808 of them went to our one that Fairfield hosted. So as you can see, most of the people come to what we host, which makes sense. But yet, when they figure out our share of the cost of the overall operation, they count that, and they count all the people who go to New Haven. And with that, we're probably the largest, and I'm looking at some other towns here, and I think the next one might be 515, might be Milford.
Yeah.
And they're at 512. You know, even New Haven, you would think they'd be the bigger one, and they're only at 349 for the year. So our large numbers is really attributed to the fact that we host it. So 800 plus that come here, and maybe 100 will make the trip down to New Haven. I'm not thrilled on how that breaks out, because we staff ours with our own personnel, and we're carrying a lot of the overhead operation of the New Haven for only 100 people that go there versus all these other towns. So that's something that I'll wind up bringing up when we have another meeting with the regional group. But that's a little bit about the hazardous waste stuff, and why I have a little concerns with, the whole idea is to get this stuff out of the households, but I have a little bit of concern with how many are going to show up on May 9th, and what type of bill am I going to get after that?
Because they just bill you based on people that come.
They bill you based
Yeah,
on households.
we pay, our percentage of, using the service, and then we are paid by, we pay for what actually gets brought in, not by people. But because people are bringing in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they hoard it until this moment.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
fine.
Like right now,
And I
with
think-
the spring weather, so many people are cleaning out their garages and everything else. And I mean, we're throwing people out of the transfer station because they're trying to sneak in with that fertilizer, the old, spray. Oh, God.
Well, and I know a
Getting
lot of
ugly,
people
too.
who didn't get to go to the October one. I mean, a lot of them told me they're just gonna hold it. Yeah.
Right.
So I.
And see, the good
yeah.
thing about having it in May too is we're having it May 9th. They open May 30th.
So if
And they
you,
run till October 17th. So they have that avenue. they can go to New Haven.
So would the goal be then to try and to get more people to go to New Haven?
No, it doesn't,
Now, the goal is to get more people to bring their paint to Sherman-Williams regularly.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, that's a big goal.
that's a big goal.
People still will call me, I've been saving my batteries all year, when's hazardous waste day?
Oh, but that, yeah, they don't
Right,
know.
you know, again,
So-
motor oil and antifreeze.
They just don't
Bring it
know
down to-
what
yeah.
Bring it down
the
to,
transfer station is capable of all year round.
and that would keep a lot of these numbers down.
Because that's, we had an awful lot, with people with just motor oil, antifreeze, and batteries last year at Haz Waste Day.
Paints, yeah. So you get the, if we get the word out, which is gonna be in a couple of weeks, that's the better portion of it.
And I was going to say, I think when we talk about Community Education Committee, that
Yes.
having heard what happened last year, I think it's very important to get the word out as best we can.
Right, Lisa
To
Claire
not
did
come down to
update.
hazardous waste for things like batteries that you can do anytime
Yeah.
Yes.
at all.
I
That-
gave her,
that kind of-
because after she put it first out and it had the wrong information again.
Do you-
I personally sent her and she did correct it.
Yes, I saw that. That
Do
was
you
good.
do you have a flyer currently that exists for the May 9th event yet? Or?
I feel like I saw something.
There's, if you go to our website and you could see, it's, it's the same stuff. It has all that information.
Do you have the link yet? Is there a link to register yet?
It won't be active until Monday. It's 2 weeks before. So we're telling everybody the week before.
So-
The problem was,
So we should make sure that, I'm sure the first selectman will be able to get this in there. We got to get the word out so people don't show up with things they didn't need to wait in line for.
Which speeds up the line.
Exactly.
And
We got the
like I say,
mattresses last
That's the cost the other way.
Yeah, the mattresses, yeah.
And that was another one.
Yeah, but that's this weekend, so hopefully.
So those are, that's hazardous waste. Here's my other notes. The other item that I had for reporting on is our budget process. So we went through the 3 different boards. I don't know if the RTM actually voted yet on theirs. They might have by now. I haven't,
Yeah, I think they did, because I remember watching,
okay, so I know I went, we had to appear, but I don't think,
And then they voted like the next,
yeah, so, but they haven't come out with, I don't know if it's the final one. I haven't seen the finalized
And we still don't have, we still don't have the mill rate, so.
mill rates and all that, so, but
Well, the mill rates aren't going to,
that'll be a little bit.
that'll be a bit, because Laura is in the old town hall. We're supposed to be meeting,
Right.
working on she's the Board of Assessment Appeals, and that is going on and on and on. She's working like someone retired for 10 years. She's working 3 days a week, Monday mornings, to get through until the actual grand list is decided by the end of May, I guess. The mill rate can't really be
So
set anyway.
when you get to your food waste, and I'll mention.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
We'll discuss it then if you want to discuss that then, or basically, that was
Yeah.
not in the budget.
Right.
It didn't make it. We put 30,000 in there. They said try and find the money, but we're not funding it. I'm still hopeful that I can at least get to, but I can't commit to right now because of basically what I said with the Haz Waste not knowing that wild card right now. But I want to try and get at least a 2 to get our pilot up at Brookside. There's a good chance of it. I just got to make sure I get a feel as to the second Haz Waste cleanup, where that stands. Otherwise, I would have felt pretty comfortable.
Yeah, let's hold off until we get together. First of all, before we go any, I'm sorry,
No, that's it.
first, I should have in the beginning welcomed you, Courtney, the new member here, who now signed in and can vote and everything.
Official,
else. So thank you very much, and
Thank you for having me.
glad to have you. Yeah, and just the next item, and very quickly, we need to vote, we voted, 2 meetings ago to approve the new regulations. We then had the public hearing where we had a couple people show up, but there was no comments relative to that. So we just need to take a vote now. I need to have a motion to not really finalize these regs, we've already done that, but get them posted and make them official for July 1, so.
Are we allowed to do that
I
at a
was just
special
gonna
meeting?
ask
Yeah,
that.
there's-
Yes, it's on the agenda, yes. We are.
Oh,
As long as it was on the agenda, yeah.
So,
So I'll entertain a motion to accept the regulations as we approved.
I so move.
Okay, second, Courtney? All in favor? All right.
Thank you.
So then the next, the food waste containers, obviously, we were disappointed that they were taken out of the budget by the Board of Finance, but my understanding is, and I heard from the chair, I heard the chairman talk about that, is, the Board of Finance wanted to make sure that every department had everything they needed to keep us a well-running town with all the services that are needed, but most of the optional stuff was, okay, this is a tough year. I think last year we would have been fine. This year, because of the 5-year rolling reassessments, a lot of people are very upset and concerned about what that's going to mean to taxes. Some of them not understanding the mill rate is going to be adjusted, but still, it's a tough year. And I'm hoping that we've already asked to see if there are any way to get a grant for any of this, but obviously, if there's any way your budget will allow it for the two, which we're talking about 15,000, not the 30, or if you get what you need with the mini bottle funds, and there's some of that left, but I'm confident that eventually we're going to get these two things.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm hopeful for it. I knew we were doing the second waste at the end of the year, which kind of gave me a little bit pause to.
Well, it's the same budget year. That's right. I forgot about that.
That's why, that's my biggest concern, is I'm not
Okay.
sure, if I get hit with another, $60,000 or something like that, that's kind of where I got to find without going over.
Yeah.
John, are you saving money because of the lack of recycling contamination?
I'm saving money because of the lack of, well, I'm not being penalized, so there's a savings there. I mean, I was never budgeted officially for contamination. But I'm saving because the recycling is down, and that's not something that impacts the revenue. Whereas, as I started out saying, we're down a little bit in tonnage of MSW, but that is offset by the revenue that we claim against that. So, that's where the recycling will help us. That's no expense, there's no revenue associated with the recycling, and then it is lower, so.
So, overall, MSW is down, recycling is down, food waste is marginally up, glass is the same as it was last year about?
Yep.
What do you attribute the reduction to?
Well, the recycling is
Major
simple.
categories are,
The recycling,
The hauler.
yeah, well, that's a big one, yeah.
We've lost a hauler. I've cut off,
why does that affect it?
why does
Still the
losing
same-
out?
We still have the same number of households.
No, but this includes commercial and businesses.
All American took over one of our haulers who came regularly. They no longer come there.
Oh,
So it's all Americans' fault.
No, we'll take blame for it. They're picking up, but it's leaving the town.
It's not going to Fairfield.
Yeah.
It's not going to Fairfield Transfer Station.
The commercial doesn't have to come to our
okay.
transfer station.
We just take in the residential.
Get the residential.
And the residential's down, but not by much. The big hit is in the commercial end and the over-the-scale CODs. That's where it's really down.
And
And that's our
Recycling,
bigger revenue as opposed to the,
recycling is we're cleaning it up and getting rid of contamination.
and we only take residential recycling at the transfer station. Commercial, they have to bring it someplace else.
What is going to happen if we start paying for glass? Because that's another thing you have to keep in mind, right?
Well, that's 36 tons.
Yeah, and it'll come out of the recycling budget.
That comes out.
What we figure we're gonna spend for recycling.
Right. I mean,
That's another charge you got to keep in the back of your mind.
Right.
That might happen this
Right.
year.
Well, if I understand it, the glass is just sent directly up to
Beacon Falls.
Beacon Falls versus glass that's in recycle is sorted, and that whatever of that goes up to Beacon Falls as well. But it goes through it first.
Yeah, I don't know how well they are getting all the
Yeah.
glass out. A lot of that is contamination that probably goes back down, gets burned with the rest of it. So, but, yeah, that'll be considered as my recycling. I'm a little bit under, we're on, more than that under right now with bringing it in. Okay.
So any more discussion about the food waste containers?
I just had one question, which is it possible without us having bought the containers yet to do an RFP for the service of the containers? In case we're like possibly overestimating how much it might be, or maybe do that in conjunction with also doing an RFP for the hauling at the transfer station?
I would like you guys to consider the fact that let's do it as a subscription, $20 a year, $25 a year.
Well, okay, but that's not what I asked.
The RFP, if we could put out,
We got a little time on the RFP, but yes, I mean,
Because that way, if we can do some bundling with the schools, it feels like it might,
well,
we might be anticipating a greater cost than we.
that's a completely.
They're totally separate
No, I
from us.
understand.
So it would be a separate RFP, because you never put one out for the schools.
No, we did.
You put an RFP out for food waste?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's that one, and that would be totally separate than what ours
Right,
is.
but what I'm saying is if we were using another hauler like All American that's already in town twice a week, doing huge amounts of pickups.
That has nothing to do with us. That would be their consideration.
You're saying that they may give a better deal.
Yes.
And yes.
But that would be on their consideration end of it.
Right, they, by going out with an RFP at this point in time, could reduce what we're paying at the transfer station. That's true.
All I say about that is when we were looking into, and we did get estimates for hauling when we were looking at the grant we were looking at last year. But there were companies that were not willing to give us a firm price because it wasn't defined yet.
Right, and they also didn't,
Want to show their hand.
Yeah, well, exactly.
they didn't want it publicly announced like it had been, right?
Here's the thing, when we are able to order these containers, it's going to be at least 4 to 6 weeks, maybe longer till we get them. The minute we place the order, we'll get the RFP out.
Correct.
And I think that'll tell the tale. So, again, I don't, the hauling part of it, I think is going to be considerably less than we anticipated, but we'll know when we actually get the containers.
I mean, I agree where, you don't want to put an RFP out if something's not going to happen. But, yes, we expect it to happen, or at least at one site, and then we're doing the transfer station now anyway, which is good.
Right.
So, like I said, I'm not opposed to saying, yes, let's start working on one so it's ready to pull the trigger, but it probably won't be pulled until, we say, okay, we're buying the containers. But at least cut some of that time out of saying, what do we need?
And All Americans hungry, they want it anyway.
I got that impression.
Unofficial.
And anyway.
And it's also, we have more people in town picking up food waste than we ever did.
Yep.
I mean, there's
More
more.
haulers now.
It's
And we have
getting,
the illegal company doing it.
it's more popular.
Nicola.
Well, if there's nothing further on food waste, then, Megan, what do you have to report on your new community education committee?
I'd like to refer that we have done nothing, but
Well, you were with your kids all last week. Of course you've done nothing.
I do actually, and I wish, maybe I could share it. So this is like a small point, but a bright spot. I had a Girl Scout troop over my house yesterday, and I put together a whole PowerPoint presentation about the transfer station and all the different recycling stations there. I had 13 parents in attendance, and all of them were like, whoa. I had no idea. So, yeah, no idea. They had
Even after we have Girl Scouts in government and they come down there, it's like I get Girl Scout mothers calling and whatnot. I can't believe what my daughter saw down there.
Yeah. So because I feel like I was able to make an impact and an impression on these parents, they assured me now that they would start using the transportation more. But is there another way that we can reach the masses? Like, I don't know if there's, I know I'm sure this is what you've been struggling with.
Oh, I bang my head
forever.
on it, yes.
But is
Yeah.
there any other meetings we can attend that it's not just the same people at these meetings? Is it like, can we brainstorm other ways to,
People.
Yeah.
Well, I have a couple of thoughts. Well, one is something we talked about was trying to get a page in the Parks and Rec brochure,
right?
which just came
Just
out.
went out.
I know, I saw it, it was like,
I was like,
we missed
damn.
that one.
But maybe for the fall one, we can get something in,
Yeah.
so we can talk about that. It's really hard to reach lots of people. We tried to put a mailer in the tax
Right, but
letter last year, but they wouldn't let us do
And when they
that.
had done that, in 2020, 2021, 90% of the people just threw it out. They didn't even look at it.
There isn't a great way to reach everyone in town. So that's why what we had initially talked about was like a multi-pronged approach where we're kind of like, and this ties into something else I want to talk about, which is that like some stuff is coming out from the DPW. The Colleen
Right.
is amazing, and she does great stuff with the Instagram. But I just want to. I think if we want to do a campaign, it has to be like.
Well, yeah, because I give her the stuff that she puts out, and
Yeah.
again, it's just, sometimes it falls through the cracks.
Yeah.
Because I don't have access to that, and then when it does, we got to hope it gets picked up by Lisa Claire.
Yeah. So maybe we can have. Maybe
I
we could
can-
plan to meet with Lisa.
Remember, I don't want anything
and
published unless it
Colleen.
goes through me.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yes.
maybe we have a meeting, and Andy also volunteered to be on our committee, which is great. So we can have a meeting
Yeah.
maybe with Colleen and Lisa, and
Lisa,
just talk about what we can do to kind of like touch as many places as possible, but also being like super cohesive about the
messaging.
messaging.
Right.
Like I said, yeah, the biggest thing is, I put together the information, Colleen makes it pretty, and she posts it.
Right.
And then Lisa Claire picks it up.
Yeah.
And that works, but, again, it's just,
I think that.
it's
yeah.
not Colleen's job. She's doing this out of the kindness of her heart.
Kylie leads DPW. She is, and like I say, I catch.
She is absolutely amazing.
Yeah,
I
she
catch
is.
some of the, the Instagrams that she puts out there,
Yeah.
but she is.
And I mean,
gung-ho
I know
with
she's
the
got a
Girl
big
Scouts.
following.
She's
Yeah.
going, with
Yeah.
the other things. and-
Yeah, she's always on top of it, and her posts are always like relevant, timely, like.
And like I said, I give her a bunch of pictures and the words I want, and somehow she makes them all mesh nice and beautiful
Yeah.
and cohesive.
Yeah.
Because that's a big problem with a lot of the messages, that come out that are not cohesive when you see it.
Bits and bobs,
You
yeah,
know.
yeah. So
I
that's.
mean,
that's,
and
I
we're
think-
forever grateful for, the local haulers, they're getting a lot of words out. I'm getting a lot of pushback because All American and, Oak Ridge are tagging with the town's tags. And so that's been fun on the recycling.
All right. Good enough, good enough.
Which is.
And Chris is trying, Chris is great when he jumps on the floor, the driver for the
Yeah.
residential.
Yep.
I met her on behalf of the Audubon.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
she's a huge environmental advocate, so she'll put anything. I
Okay.
know she'll put
Great,
anything in
yeah.
there. If like it's
I have no doubt about that. I
Yeah.
actually really want to hear from her what she thinks are the most effective ways to like reach people.
right.
Like,
I mean,
is it
she
paper?
knows-
Is it having a banner on Sherman Green? Is it putting something in the patch? Like, what are?
Yeah.
It's all of the above.
Right, right.
You're
right.
talking to someone that refuses to do social media, but I'm online, I keep informed about a lot of things the way I do it. Everyone does it a different way.
Yeah.
And to your point, we get the things from Park and Rec. Okay, it's nice, but, we have kids in
Yeah,
schools.
so you don't- right.
But I read the First Selectman's email every month. A lot of people don't. I don't know how many people do or don't.
Lisa
but
can tell
all
us.
of the above, I think, is really
People
important.
Open
She
it, what the
yeah.
open rate is
Yeah,
and
she
stuff.
has
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
And I'd like to, if you could share the PowerPoint, I'd love that.
And also, like, occasionally we've been able to ask for a dedicated email about things. So maybe that is something, once we put together a campaign, maybe that's something that we can do as well.
And the thing is with PowerPoints, I've learned that to put PowerPoints on here is not as good as making them a PDF first, because you can't make them bigger and stuff.
Oh,
If
yeah.
you do a PDF, you can put that anywhere. People if someone sees it and wants to send it to their friend, they do it, you know, so, but that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, so I think we'll get together, and I think our first order of business is to like establish our goals and then make a plan to
Yeah.
what information we want to share and how we can share it in a way that reaches the maximum number.
I put this on the agenda as an introduction, because I know you haven't done it. This just started last month,
We
but
ran into each other one day and we talked about it then.
We sure did.
So that was like kind of like a meeting.
Got your minutes?
Yeah,
by the
we
way-
didn't take minutes, we didn't take minutes.
and by the way, as you know, I volunteered to man a table
Yes.
at the Earth Day thing on
Yes.
that Saturday. And I'm fine to do that. Don't everyone here really have an obligation to be there, but I've got some ideas about what we want to do, and I think it'll be for 3 hours in the middle of the afternoon. Are the tables outside or inside?
It's outside if the
Outside.
weather.
Well, the weather, yeah, we'll hopefully have a good weather day, and I'll bring some tape in case it's windy or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
But, yeah, Mary Hogue is the one that brought that up, and I had no idea, so I'm really glad, we
Me
decided
too,
on
I
that.
think that'll be great, and we'll come up with some fun thing to get
You know,
kids to the table.
if you get 1 or 2 people at a time, it's better than 0.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I have it here. Let's see.
I didn't mean sending it now.
I know, but in case you wanna.
Oh, I want to see it too.
Well, and I wasn't able to cook this up like we are in the other room, where I have stuff to show, but I don't. It's,
You can share your screen or
I
no?
can't,
Okay.
I got into mirroring and stuff. It's a different setup than the other one.
All right, well, I'm not on the
But
Wi-Fi.
I'll distribute it whenever I
Yeah, I
see.
can email it to everybody just so you can take a
Yeah,
look.
please.
In case you have some meetings that you want to share it with,
And by the way, that should also go on our website and your website if it's appropriate. I mean, again, how many people look at the solid waste?
Nobody.
Well, yeah, that's pretty close to accurate.
You've got Google. Everybody looks at Google and, they see what they see on
Yeah.
Google.
Yeah,
Like,
Which is not for Connecticut.
yeah.
Exactly.
well, if anywhere in this, any Fairfield in this country, if you say, hey, call the Fairfield dump, the first one they do
Fairfield,
is
California.
Fairfield, Connecticut. I get Ohio, New Jersey, Tennessee, Alabama, California,
Well, one of the suggestions that I.
Texas, yep, I got that guy the
do
other
you have the Wi-Fi?
One of the suggestions that I was gonna,
Did people, Fairfield just got dials in here?
Well, it's
Did you guys do that on purpose?
Siri and what's the other one? The Amazon one, Alexa. Those are the two. And people will say, just call Fairfield Dump, and we're number one on that Google search.
one of the things Mary suggested is that we have a QR code, which I had gotten some months ago, and I'm gonna have this at the, at the Earth Day thing, and people can, then it takes you right to our website, and that which takes you right to the
You're
department.
really
website.
cutting edge, man.
Oh, well, I'm being forced to, I guess. But anyway, I think it'll be interesting though, and I think it's all part of all of the above.
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
knows?
all of the above, totally.
And when you talk, how did you put your PowerPoint together? Did you go down and visit the transfer station and?
More or less. I do have pictures from the transfer station of when I've been
But you
been
didn't take
there.
the kids there.
Huh?
You didn't take the kids there.
No, but they would want to go, Lisa. If we could set that
Well,
up.
they have to wear vests because they're. Lisa gave me hell for not going down and not
God.
wearing a.
As I'm watching him almost get run over on the camera.
She got me on video.
They're always welcome. I mean, yeah, the biggest thing with, yeah.
Well, I'm just curious if that like, is there an opportunity to build that into like the public school learning, like a field trip, like every fifth grade or something?
That's
or,
where you need to start with the
Yeah.
kids.
Well, yeah, oh,
Is-
sorry, dear.
that's okay.
I mean,
You want to change
again,
something,
it's
go to
just,
the elementary schools.
oh, yeah, well, that's why when my kids growing up, we had the garbage museum.
Yeah, exactly.
And I've
Yeah.
heard about that, but
Yeah.
I know that doesn't exist anymore.
Well,
And
it's,
that
it's
would
still there, it's just someone else owns the property.
The dinosaur is up in Bridgeport.
Like, does All American own that too?
Yeah.
So, yeah, we bought AMAC, but
Yeah.
they're all being rebuilt now.
Yeah.
So we're actually
tearing that part down, and we'll hopefully have the garbage museum back at some point.
Oh, no, that's okay, so
Okay.
that's positive, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What year, like, how long do you anticipate that would take?
So they're starting demo, I want to say, in the next 3 to 6 months.
Okay.
Portions, it'll be in sections, but we'll see what happens from there.
You know, and I know Oak Ridge is more than willing to do, you know, small groups with
Yeah.
kids.
I just know that if they go to the one in their town.
Right, I mean, you know, again, it's, you know, it's, with kids, it's 15 minutes tops. You know, there's not a lot, I mean, you know, because there's a
Right.
lot of moving traffic, so you gotta be real careful with kids too.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's the biggest
Yeah.
thing. I mean, even when we have the Girl Scouts there, because there's only, what, 3 or 4?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just a matter of keeping them confined to a small area. You can't walk all over the whole place. You know, and it's not like you could drive through and explain everything.
Well, I was gonna say, yeah, because you do, but like.
Well, yeah, I mean, when I was
I think
running,
it's not
yeah,
as-
when I was running the yard waste place, the scouts would come through on a bus.
Yeah.
You know, and we'd give them a quick little presentation, but you know.
Yeah. This is it. It's not the best. I put it together literally in like 20 minutes because I was waiting
Yeah,
till the
but
last
she's so
minute for
good at it.
everything. But it literally just it's super quick. Where does our trash go? Obviously in Connecticut there's 2 places, right? Landfill. I mean, I didn't do it goes to the transfer station first and then gets just because these kids can't pay attention to anything anymore. So obviously food waste is the first one, you know, glass and then what it gets made into. We have a textile recycling bin, obviously at the transfer station, but also at our school. So I put the wood from our school. Electronics and what happens to it. I basically want them to know what you can drop off and what actually happens to it because sometimes dropping off is just like, well, all right, it's just one step in the final process. And then tires, propane, white goods, and your bulky waste.
That's beautiful.
And then what else you can do? We don't have plastic bags, but you know, you can do the plastic bags at the grocery stores, redeem your bottles and cans, and this is a picture of their school because they do all this stuff at their school. It's super basic, but it just
Yeah, but it just puts the bug in the kid's head.
But the parents, I got to tell you, were very enthralled because they were like, I had no idea.
Well, again, it's the kind of thing that, especially as long as, you know, Lisa checks it out and it's all right, it's the kind of thing that really should go on our websites
I mean, I can make it.
and can.
Well, yeah, and it has to be more.
And it has to be
Yeah.
one page.
Right, and it has to be, you know, Fairfield food waste, you know.
I know.
Because people are gonna be
And I
looking at
had that. It
and,
was like,
yeah.
I literally waited till the last minute to do this. I was just
You know, our new recycling area,
Well, that,
have you been there yet?
What?
The new recycling area, where we got the shed and the blue wall and
oh, I'll go down
Where?
the transfer station.
But we're in the transfer station.
You know where the food waste is?
Yeah.
We have.
Oh, yes. I parked in front. Yes. But I can come and take pictures and break it down like that as such because, yeah, the propane area and then put the actual.
Well, yeah, the propane area is a little full right now. I've got, you know, I've got my, you know, they're coming in to pick up soon, but,
Yeah.
you know, after a long winter,
Right.
you know.
It could be good to take a picture while it's full.
all right.
Yeah.
well,
It's all right. It's full. Looks like you're collecting a lot.
Well, that's and that's probably when it's good to take a picture to show people that it's being used and they can easily do it because a lot of people are just. And yeah.
Most people that I talk to on the phone still think we're filling in a hole somewhere.
Oh, yeah. And, you know, and then you have the, you know, and, you know, and everybody's pushing about landfill
Yeah.
when they tell stuff about garbage.
Yeah.
It's like, let's kind
Well-
of just worry about Fairfield until, you know, the incineration.
Lisa, if you recall, at one point, I made the suggestions that we get rid of the term dump completely.
Yeah, see, I
Because
like
some
the town
people-
dump.
Well, I know, but people, there is no dump.
I usually correct people too and say, it's a transfer station.
I know.
But
I want to clean.
in the budget and everything else,
I
we're
know.
still under town dump.
I joke with Laura every time I take my food waste and, well, I'm going down to the dump, you know? There's no dump.
But then I also highlighted, you know, the yard waste drop off because people.
Which is really, that blows my mind.
People don't know, and it kills me when I walk around on Monday mornings. That's when our trash gets picked up, and it's like there's all twigs and branches in their garbage.
Right.
And I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah, and that's actually
oh yeah, I hate walking.
oh, I mean, you know, I get people who want to dump their grass, and grass is completely illegal to dump at the transfer station. Okay, and they're here at the transfer station. They just paid, you know, $7. You know, all you gotta do is go next door and it's free.
But people
And they don't
know.
know. Right. And they don't know, and it's included in
Or
there.
people think they know everything, so they don't need to
Well, they
find
don't
out.
can't be told what to do.
We get that too. Especially when I pull out a big bag of yard waste out of All American's recycling today.
So that was the other thing. I was like, that was the other thing for the parents. I was like, who buys a beach pass? They all do.
Everyone.
And I'm like,
I go
and
by
this is
this one lady's got
included
one
in
of
your
your
beach
grasshopper
pass. And I'm like, it's like a
things.
2-for-1 deal. They were like,
And I mean, it always makes me smile.
They didn't know that?
no.
Oh, my
I
God.
was like, you can get so
It's
much more
recyclable.
for your money.
It's,
If like, I know
it's
people,
that
if you
kind of
pose it like that,
That's
then
what
they're
they
more
always say,
inclined
it's recyclable. I
to
thought.
use.
No, we get food waste in the
services,
recycling
so-
because, you know, this
Well,
one.
Okay,
Anyway.
well, thank you so much. And yeah, this is, I've said it many times, but I think one of our biggest reasons for existing is public communication and making sure people, so many people just don't have a clue about what goes
Redemption
on.
thing now?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Doing that
It's just
on and on in many different ways.
It's just the mode of getting that communication.
Okay, so
Lisa,
I think we're, unless you have something else, I think we're almost done. But Ron, you wanted to?
Yes.
Go ahead. Ron's our vice chair, and you've been on the commission for what, 3-4 years?
30 years, I don't know. No, as I've shared with Tim, after living in Fairfield for 49 years, we will be moving sometime this summer to far off Bridgeport. But that means that I will no longer be a Fairfielder, which means clearly that I can no longer be on the commission. So I just wanted to give everyone a heads up. So Courtney, you're on the way in and I'm on the way out.
Cycle.
Anyway, so,
Well, Ron, and as I mentioned,
Congratulations.
when we talked, I mean, as long as you think you'll be here for the next 2 meetings, I hope you can still participate. I think if you're still living in Fairfield and registered to vote in Fairfield, you can still be in the commission. So if you can still attend the next couple of meetings, that'd be great. If not,
it's very likely that I can.
good, okay. And I'll, so we'll talk more.
You can then start asking around. to
Well,
see
and that's the thing, I
if there's
think, we don't have meetings in July and August.
Right.
So I think,
And I've had people who are really interested in the commission, and they
Okay,
keep
well, that-
saying every time they go down there, like when Misty was, people who really wanted it, and they were told, no, it's already been filled, so.
well, we will get, matter of fact, starting maybe now, I'll have there's an online place where you can
Right.
apply for that. I'll get that going in the next month or so. I should mention, we have a meeting in May. The June meeting, I'm going to be in the air back from Portugal, so I will not be in the June meeting. Someone has to run the meeting for us in June, but we'll talk about that later.
Sorry, when's the next meeting? May?
That's May,
second Tuesday.
Sorry, second Tuesday. Okay, so May 11th.
Monday.
Second Monday.
it is Monday.
You said
the
Tuesday, but I
11th,
was looking at Monday.
May 11th, yes.
Okay.
And hopefully schools are in that.
Yes.
They're not in a lot, but,
They better.
Well, I guess the colleges are heading out, right, at that time, about that time, right? Clam jam, probably.
Oh, God.
All right, well, if there's no other business, I'm sorry, go- public comments, I'm sorry, go ahead. Well, we should be back in our normal Old Town Hall next month, unless I hear otherwise, and do I have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
Second? All in favor? Thank you, everyone.